Hi, everybody. It is July 17th, and God came to me today in the form of answered prayer. I have a brother, I have two, but my oldest brother has opened a second business. It's a restaurant, and I won't say which one it is, but anyway, and it was going really well at first. I prayed for it, but lately, since the opening, which was I don't know, March, April, something like that. He had a real good influx of people, which it was really tough because he was training them. And so, you know, he didn't want things to get too busy. And then finally they're trained up. And then that's when a lot of people started quitting just because, they're kids for the most part. And so they did for whatever reasons. And so this kind of continued another one to where, my poor brother is working literally open to close 7 days a week, and he's not a young man. And so I kept praying for people for him, good, solid people to, to be employed. It's not even like I'm like, oh, just give him something. No, he's providing a service too. And so, another week goes by and another person's quitting. Another week goes by and another manager's quitting, or a shift worker is quitting. And I'm just like, and he got to the point where he's like, I don't know how I'm going to stay open. I just don't have the people to work. And he's like, nobody wants to work, which could send him into political tirade, but I won't get into that. Um, and so just the other day, like, was it earlier this week, like 2 days ago or something? Or yeah, I think I saw him. No, yesterday. It was yesterday because I made chili and I took him some. He needed something. So I went up there and we were chatting a little bit, and he's like, giving me I just don't know. I'm like, well, Dave, I am praying for you all the time for people. And he's like, I know. And I don't really ever tell him that I'm praying for him per se. I just do it. Um, and so it's one of the few times I told him. And then today I get a text from him and he tells me that he has a manager who's already been trained at this particular restaurant that he has hired. So he doesn't have to train them and they're coming in. And he's like, keep praying. And I'm like, I will. And then he texted me again tonight. He has another shift manager that he just hired who can also do other things in the business. And so he's like, I'm back. And I was like, wow, God answered the prayer. And, sometimes it seems like, because I've been praying for, it seems like month, 2 months for him to get people, get people, and nothing seems to happen. And you think, is God listening? It's like, because he really needs it. He's getting too old to be working open to close 7 days a week. And he just looks so tired and made me sad. But God didn't forget me. He didn't forget David. He heard, but it's almost like he wanted to take David to his absolute lowest of low, where it's like, I literally don't know how I'm going to be open next month or next week or, whatever. And then sent him some people. Don't know why. Don't really care. I'm just so happy to have answered prayer. And I thank God for that. So you have to be careful with prayer. It's God's not the, eternal bellhop, but he does hear. And I think we've talked about that before. Sometimes the answer's no for a reason. And I just didn't think he was going to leave David, high and dry, starting this endeavor and then say, kidding. I'm going to have to, fold. And it wasn't really the direction I took because I was, not that I'm the tell, but I was just sure that this is where he should be and this was the right path. And so I'm so happy that some relief has come and that God had stepped in and brought that answered prayer to my brother. So thank you, God, for that. And I'm so, so happy that you showed up today in that form because, oh, so needed, so appreciated, so happy.